Hey guys, so in this tutorial we are going to learn about auto scaling group in AWS and how to implement it. So let's get started. So in this tutorial we are going to see a real-time example on how actually the auto scaling group works. For this I'm going to create a auto scaling group in my AWS console and show you a real-time example on how actually the auto scaling happens with EC2 instance. So before going into AWS console for creating auto scaling group, let's understand few things about auto scaling. So autoscaling is basically a service being provided by AWS that automatically manages the number of EC2 instances. So how it is helpful? It is helpful to maintain your application availability and performance. Okay, so let's understand this with a better example. So let's say you have a application and you have hosted it in a server that is EC2 instance, and users are using those application your application basically. So now let's say your application gets viral and there are lots of users coming to use your application, but as your application is launched in one EC2 instance, it will create a load to that particular EC2 instance and your application will not be able to access properly, or there might be a performance issue. To get rid of this, we can implement auto scaling. So let's understand how auto scaling group actually works. So I have a diagram for that. This is the simplest diagram for understanding auto scaling group. So let me explain. So on the top we have a load balancer and you can see a rectangular box. So inside this rectangular box we are having four small boxes. So these are basically a servers, and the rectangular box, big box you see, it is the auto scaling group. So this auto scaling group is been configured with some parameters like minimum size, desired capacity and maximum size. So maximum size, it is easy to understand, that is you can see there are four boxes. So this auto scaling group can scale up to 4 servers. So EC2 instance, 4 EC2 instance can be created. So over here you can see in this auto scaling group there are two boxes with dark orange, and then you have this empty dotted boxes. So it means that this two are empty, it has not been used yet. Okay, so here you can see a minimum size. So minimum size is basically a one server been running in this auto scaling group. So minimum size is used when there is low traffic on your server. So let's say your server has 100 visitors per day. Okay, not at a time, per day. Okay, so at that time minimum size can be used. Okay, and now let's say at a particular duration, like after every 1 hour there are at a particular given time there is a high load on your server. So at that time this EC2 instance will not have a capability to handle all the requests. So at that time you need to auto scale by creating multiple servers so that the users will get notified or respond whatever they are requesting. So here desired capacity, so you can see as soon as there is a load on a server, so the size or EC2 instance will get created. So you can see there are two EC2 instance been running over here, that is the desired capacity. So now let's say there are more traffic been coming and you can see there are two empty space left yet. Okay, so now let's say this auto scaling group requires another EC2 instance to serve the user's request. So at that time what auto scaling does is it will just create another EC2 instance over here. Okay, so now you have 3 servers to serve your user depending on the load. Okay, so now let's say how it is going to decrease. So now let's say suddenly your traffic rise and now the traffic has decreased, so there are no users. So now keeping this running instance is of no use because it is costly and you need to pay for it. So now you want to just terminate those particular unused servers. So auto scaling will automatically work and it will just check if there is any traffic being coming for some period of time like 10 minutes. So if there is no traffic for more than 10 minutes or 15 minutes, so it will just automatically remove this EC2 instance, this EC2 instance, and just keep only one EC2 instance. So like this, auto scaling works like increasing or decreasing the server depending on the need. So now let's go to our AWS console and create our own auto scaling group. So now we are in our AWS console. So let's get started by creating auto scaling group. So for this, in the search box, you can just search for auto scaling. Okay, and you can see this is the auto scaling, or else what you can do, you can just go to your EC2 instance over here. Okay, and if you scroll down, you will see the auto scaling option over here. So you can just create it from here. So create auto scaling group. So before this, I need to create my EC2 instance template. Okay, so for this, you can scroll up and you can just search for launch template. Okay, so this is basically a predefined application that you want to launch in your EC2 instance. So suppose if you have an application and each of your EC2 instance should install the predefined applications on the EC2 instance. So you can just go and click over here. So first of all, as I said, we need to create launch instance. So just create on launch instance and just name it as my EC2, anything you can just name. Okay, and you can just give a description. It is not mandatory, I think so. And now here in a quick start, the application page, application and operating system OS. So over here you can just select your operating system, Ubuntu, Windows or Linux. So in our case, I will just create a simple Linux operating system, and from here I will just select my free tier down. Okay, you can just, okay, so I got signed out, so let me sign it again. Sorry, the session has expired, so I have signed in again. So where I was over here. So just select your operating system that you required, select free tier. Okay, and then instance type. So instance type, I will just keep it as free tier. I don't want to pay anything for this. In the key value pair, it is your wish. If you want to use, you can use it. So in our case, it is not required actually for this particular tutorial. So if you are building your real project, then you might need to create a key value pair to get login into your operating system. Okay, and then subnet you can just keep as it is. Okay, so now let's create a security group, or else we can just make use of existing. No, I don't have an existing, so let me create a security group. Okay, I'll just name it anything. Okay, so over here SSH 20. Okay, so this I need to add, and the port name is 22. Okay, and then the storage will be the free tier itself, you can see. Okay, and now here in advanced settings, you can just go scroll down and you will find user data. So over here I will just enter few commands that will create or install the required applications. Like I need HTTP for web serving. So you can see over here I am just installing Stress. So let me tell you why I am using this Stress. So HTTP is basically a server that will help us in loading our HTML page. And you can see over here I'm just echoing hello from host name, and I'm just storing this file into this path, that is index.html. Okay, so this will be our simple HTML page that will load when we launch or when we try to visit our website. Okay, so this will be just a simple website page. Okay, just click on create. So I need to select this thing. Yeah. Oh, I need to also give a description. 22 port to access. Okay, you can just give anything. So the security group has been created, then launch instance has been launched. Okay, so you can just go and create your launch template. Okay, so this is simply a template. Okay, so now let's go to auto scaling group and let's create it. So once launch template has been created, so now let's go bottom and you can see auto scaling group. So just select that, create a new one, and then just name it as my ASG auto scaling 1. Okay, you can just name it anything. So as we have created a launch template over here, so you will be able to see the list of them. So you can just select them, and then these are the basic information. Next, then here available zone, you can select all the zones, wait for some time, and next. So load balance, no load balancer. So I want to create a load balancer. Let me see if I have any load balancer. So what I will do, I will just create a new load balancer for you. and application load balancer it is of type HTTP and HTTPS, and I will just name this load balancer as load balancer for auto scaling group. Okay? And this load balancer will be available for all the subnets. Okay, and then here you have a target groups, so just select this for my first ASG, and then okay, so I just missed one thing. So this will automatically get created when you are launching your auto scaling. So over here next. Okay, so now you can see over here, so it is asking you some configuration for group size. So over here I will just set the desired size as 2 and minimum as 1 and maximum as 3. Okay, so now my auto scaling group has configured in such a way that the minimum EC2 instance running will be 1. Okay, and when there is a requirement, then it can go up to go to 2 when there is the demand, and if there is more demand, then it can maximally scale up to 3. Okay, so now no policy. Okay, next, yeah, next. No, there is no need to add any notification, it's optional. Okay, so tag is not required, so you can just verify everything from here. So you are using this launch template, my EC2 template, and these are the network configuration, and this is the load balancer that we have created. Everything is good, and just click on create auto scaling group. So once done, just wait for some time for updating the status. So let's wait for some 2 to 3 minutes. So it might take some time for creating this auto scaling group, and it will just launch a EC2 instance for you, one EC2 instance. As you can see, the minimum you have set it to 1 and maximum is 3. Okay, so the auto scaling group has been created. So now if I click over here, you will get few information like template that is been used, and network that is been used over here, and the health checkup is automatically got created over here. It is required basically. And now let me go to the activity tab, and let's check if our EC2 instance got created or no. Okay, so now you can see over here, so load balancer was created. So these are the activity histories. Okay, so it has created 2 EC2 instance, I think so, launching a new EC2 instance. So this is one and this is one. Okay, so it is the calls. The user requested the auto scaling changes of the desired capacity from 0 to 2. Okay, so instance was started with the response. Okay, so now to check this EC2 instance, you can just go to EC2 instance page, and if I go to the instance, you can see there are 2 EC2 instance been running. So I can just name it as EC2 1 and EC2 2. Okay, so these are the 2 EC2 instance been running. That's because you can see over here, so desired capacity I have just set it to 2, and the minimum is 1 and maximum is 3. Okay, so what happens is, as our desired capacity is 2, that means we are wishing to have at least 2 EC2 instance. Okay, so now if I go over here, so I cannot wait to fully get reset. Okay, so if I refresh, I must wait for one EC2 instance to get deleted, because my EC2 instance is 1. So what I will do, I will just change this desired capacity to 1 for now. Update. So now as our desired capacity is 1, so if I go to activity tab, so you can see as soon as I change this desired capacity to 1, that means I don't need more instance. So you can see terminating EC2 instance, and this is the EC2 instance ID. Okay, now if I go over here, if I refresh it, you might see one EC2 instance might getting deleted or terminated. So let's wait for some time. It is saying terminating. I think so it is sending a command. Okay, so EC2 instance ID is 1838. Yeah, so it is 0838. Yeah, so this is the instance. Okay, so now you can see one EC2 instance has been terminated successfully, and if we go to auto scaling group over here, you can see it was successful. The termination was successful after I decreased the desired capacity from 2 to 1. Okay, so now our auto scaling group has been created. So now I want to apply a policy to it. So just click over here, go to the auto scaling group that we have created just now, and there are various tabs over here. So out of it we need to go to automatic scaling. So just select over here, and there are various policies that you can attach, that is dynamic scaling policy, predictive scaling policy, and schedule scaling policy. So schedule scaling policy is when been used when you know that at a particular duration or at a particular time there is a high usage of your servers. So at that time you can just schedule this action. So what happens is, when you do this at a particular duration of time, every 5 minutes, every 30 minutes, every 1 minute, so auto scaling will work. Okay, so in our case we are going to make use of dynamic scaling. So just click on dynamic scaling, and here you can see there are various types of metrics that is being provided. So here if you click on the drop down, you can see there is network in, network out, application load balancer request per target, and there is custom CloudWatch metrics. So in this case, in this tutorial I'm going to make use of auto average CPU utilization. Okay, so here you can see there is a 50. So it means that whenever our EC2 instance capacity, CPU capacity is used about 50%, I want to scale in or scale out. Okay, so warm up I can just give as 100 seconds. Yeah, 300 seconds is basically 5 minutes, so I will just give as 100 seconds over here. Okay, and just create a policy. Okay, so once done, the policy will get attached over here. Okay, so now let's go to our EC2 instance. Okay, so you can see EC2 instance has been running over here. Okay, so if I go, I want to log in into this EC2 instance so that I can just generate a fake CPU utilization. So I will just go here, get connected. Okay, so to get connected to this, the SSLs should be enabled. So here in the security group, if you see, I have already added SSH, that is port 22. Okay, so with this I'm able to log in into my server. Okay, so now I will just generate a fake load to my CPU. Okay, so for this I can make use of stress. So I have already installed stress command during I launch my EC2 instance template. So when I launched my EC2 instance template, you can see I'm not sure where this option actually is. Yeah, advanced. Yeah, so over here you can see when I created this launch instance, you can see I have already installed stress in my system. Okay, so by using this stress I can just give a load to my CPU. Okay, so let me use this command, that is stress CPU. I will just make use of 4 CPUs, and timeout I will just give as 5 minutes. Okay, so up to 5 minutes, that is 300 seconds, it will just make use of 4 CPUs of my EC2 instance, and it will just create a load on the server. So run this. So you can see 4 CPU has been used and it has been running. Okay, so now if I go to my EC2 instance again, EC2 instance, and here you can see there is a monitoring tab. Okay, so you can see CPU utilization is less than 1%. So you can see it is 0.3. Okay, so let's wait for some time because this stress is running right now. Refresh. Let's wait. It may take some time to show this graph actually. Okay, so now I have just changed the CPU utilization graph to some seconds. Earlier it was 1 minute. So I've just changed it to seconds. So I can just take it 1 minute again. So refresh. You can see it is increasing now. So it was over here. So it went to 20%. So now slowly it will just increase to 50%. And let's observe what happens in my auto scaling group. To check it, I can just go to activity tab. So nothing happened till now because it has not reached 50% of my target group. That is the policy that I have added over here. Okay, so let's wait for some more time. Yeah, so it reached 40. You can see, yeah, 48. Let's refresh again. It's still 48. And just change it to maximum. Let's see what graph I get. Yeah, so you can see now it suddenly went into 99% of CPU utilization. So I think so. Now if I go to activity tab, no, not yet. It not got triggered. Just refresh. Yeah, so one more thing is I can just go to CloudWatch and check the trigger. So you can just go to CloudWatch, go to the alarm tag over here, alarm. Yes, in alarm you can see all alarms. Yeah, so you can see triggered, target triggered. This is the alarm that we have created. So you can see the CPU utilization greater than 30 for 3 data points for 3 minutes. Okay, so this means that if the CPU utilization is more than 50% for up to 3 minutes, then it will get triggered. So you can see it was for more than 3 minutes and then it got triggered. Okay, so let's wait. This is still working. Up to 5 minutes it will work. And if I refresh over here, nothing happened till now, so we must wait for some more time. Okay, so I did not got any updates till now, so let me refresh. No, nothing happened. Okay, and here in the alarm you can see in alarm and the CPU utilization was 50% usage for more than 3 minutes. So now in some time I think so it will get triggered and my auto scaling group will work. It's hard to show a demo in a live session. Okay, so now here you can see uh, over here waiting for instance warm up, and it is launching another instance for me. So here you can see the monitor alarm target triggered and the alarm was high, and it is saying that desired capacity was increased from 2 to 3 and the instance got started. Okay, so you can see it was very high load and the desired capacity got increased from 1 to 3 automatically. Okay, because my maximum size of this scaling was 3. So now if I go over here you can see after 5 minutes it got stopped. And if I go to this, okay, so it was 100% of usage. And then if I see EC2 instance that got created automatically, you can see two more EC2 instance got created depending on the load on the server. Okay, so you can see the load was almost 100%, so it required two more servers to be created, and one is running now, another is getting created. Okay, so like this the auto scaling actually works. So instance was created, two instance was created. So you can see the reason over here why it was created. So now as you can see the usage or the stress to the CPU is decreased now, so it is not running, so there is no load on the server. So now after some time, after waiting for some times like 15 minutes, it will automatically delete this both EC2 instance. So let's wait. So when we are waiting, so let me show you the CloudWatch alarm. So this is the one, and you can see the CPU utilization is less than 35 for 15 data points within 15 minutes. So it means that within 15 minutes, if the CPU utilization is less than 35, that is CPU utilization percentage use is 35, then this particular alarm will work. For that I must wait for some 15 minutes to get this actually works, and the auto scaling group will automatically delete the EC2 instance. To get this triggered after 15 minutes, I can just show you how I can access this particular EC2 instance. So if you remember, I have just created a template, and in the users data in advanced setting you can see I have installed httpd and I have just hosted this HTML page. So now if I go to EC2 instance and check my IP address and paste it over here, I will be able to access my EC2 instance web page. So this you can see, this is the IP address of this system. So similarly, if I take another EC2 instance, its IP address, and you can see this is the private IP that will get printed over here. And if I paste it over here, sorry, I just need to, yeah, so you can see I'm able to access this. So similarly, if I take load balancer, and if I paste it over here, and you can see I'm able to access my servers using this load balancer URL also. So I will just skip from here and I will just wait for 15 minutes to get this triggered, and I will just come back and show you how the EC2 instance are getting removed by using auto scaling. So now as I refreshed it again, you can see the connection draining in process, and you can see there is one instance that is getting removed, that is terminated. That is because the CPU utilization is less now, and you can see if I refresh this, one might be terminated, not get triggered yet, so I need to wait for some time actually. So waiting for load balancer to drain. Okay, so let's wait again. So here as you can see this message, it is saying that target triggering, that is the low alarm. So this is the alarm ID, and the ID was been triggered, and you can see it is alarm. So you can see the message over here, the condition, that is CPU utilization less than 35% for more than 15 minutes. So this got triggered, and now once it happened, the connection is been done, it will just start terminating the EC2 instance. So let me refresh again and check if it worked. I don't think so. So now waiting for some time, you can see one instance is getting set down, and now here if I go and refresh this, you can see it is the same update, but it got triggered after some time. Okay, so it is getting set down, so you can see it got terminated. Okay, so if you are watching this tutorial for practice purpose, then make sure once you practice, you just delete everything from your AWS account. So in my case, I am deleting this auto scaling group because I have just created it for this tutorial and nothing else. So over here I can just select this and go to action and delete this, and you can see the status is deleting, and my EC2 instance are getting deleted one by one, and one is running right now. So now if I go to EC2 instance and if I refresh, so you can see two got terminated and one is yet running. So it will get terminated soon. So make sure you delete everything like a network security, a load balancer, everything. So you can see the load balancer is also running. Even this is been connected to this auto scaling group. So once this get completed, everything that is connected to this auto scaling group will get deleted for me. So that's all for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe. Proto Coders Point. Thank you.